When the world moves faster than the heart. Have you ever felt like the world is moving too fast and your mind just can't keep up? You wake up in the morning and before you even take your first breath, your hand reaches for the phone. Messages, notifications, emails, news, they all rush into your head before your soul even wakes up. I've been there. I used to live in a rhythm where every day felt like a race. No pause, no breath, no stillness. Until one day I realized I wasn't living anymore. I was just moving. A friend of mine in Los Angeles once told me, I work 12 hours a day. I make more money than ever. And yet I don't feel anything anymore. I looked at him and said, you didn't lose your feelings. You're just living too fast to notice them. And that's the truth for most of us. We live in an age where faster means better. We're taught that success belongs to the busiest, to those who keep pushing, keep grinding, keep moving. But there's something nobody taught us, the art of slowing down. Over 2,000 years ago, the Stoics already understood this. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Do not let life sweep you away like a flood. Stand still long enough to see where you truly are." And I believe that quote has never been more relevant than it is today. We live in the era of speed, the speed of information, the speed of achievement, the speed of consumption. Everything has to be quick. Quick meals, quick thoughts, quick love. Even happiness is sold as a 5-minute formula. But the timeless wisdom of Stoicism reminds us, not everyone who moves fast arrives. The one who stops long enough to see clearly is the one who truly finds the way. I once worked with a young woman in New York. She worked in marketing, sharp and ambitious. She told me, I feel like I always have to run. If I stop, I'll fall behind, I asked her. And what happens if you never stop? She went silent. A month later, she texted me. I started spending 10 minutes each morning just sitting still, breathing. I never knew silence could make me feel so full. Slowing down isn't laziness, it's awareness. It's choosing to be present. It's learning to move slow enough to hear your own soul, to recognize what truly matters. When I talk about living slowly, people often imagine escaping to the mountains or quitting their jobs to find peace. But to the Stoics, slowing down isn't about running away from the world. It's about living within it, without letting it control your mind. Seneca once wrote, "No one is busier than the man who does not know what he's doing." And that's the paradox of our time. We're not busy because life demands it. We're busy to fill the emptiness inside. We fear silence. We fear stillness, because stillness forces us to face ourselves. But if you never stop, how will you ever know where you're going? Stoicism teaches us that we slow down not to fall behind but to see clearly. We slow down not to lose opportunities but to live deeply. We slow down not to give up effort but to free ourselves from the chaos. One of my favorite quotes from Epictetus says, "Live as if you are watching yourself and you will naturally live slower." And that's exactly why I made this video. To share with you 5 reasons why slowing down isn't just helpful, it's essential for the modern soul. We'll explore why slowing down brings your mind back to the present, why it deepens your awareness, how it frees you from the noise of the world, how it nurtures inner peace, and most importantly, how it brings you back to what truly matters. Today I don't just want to talk about Stoic philosophy, I want to talk about you. The person who feels exhausted from the pace of life, the one who feels like they always have to prove something, the one who secretly wishes they could just breathe. If you're hearing this right now, allow yourself to pause. Place your hand on your chest, feel your heartbeat. Take a slow breath in and exhale. That moment, right there, is the beginning of living slowly. You don't have to change your entire life. You just have to stop long enough to remember. You're not a machine, you're human, and humans need space to live, to feel, to be. So come with me as we explore 5 reasons modern people need to slow down. not to escape the world, but to live truthfully within it, with calmness, awareness, and the quiet strength of a stoic mind. Take a deep breath. Let's begin. Reason 1. Slowing down brings your mind back to the present. Have you ever realized you're living without actually being present in your own life? Your body is here, but your mind is somewhere else, thinking about that email you haven't replied to, the messages waiting to be answered, the deadlines piling up. We live as if life were a checklist to complete. But Stoicism teaches that everything you need is already here, in this very moment. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Do not waste the rest of your life dreaming about the past or worrying about the future. Live in the present, the only place you truly exist. When we live too fast, we lose the ability to feel. A beautiful morning becomes just another blur passing by the car window. A delicious meal turns into something to finish quickly so we can get back to work." I once coached a woman in Boston who told me she felt like she was slipping through the days. She said, "I can't even remember the last time I felt peaceful." I told her, "Tomorrow take a 15-minute walk without your phone. Don't take pictures, don't listen to music, just walk and breathe." A week later she texted me, "For the first time in years, I actually saw the color of the sky." That's what slowing down is about, not escaping the world, but returning to the natural rhythm of your own mind. When you become fully present in each breath, you begin to realize peace was never gone. You are just moving too fast to notice it. Reason 2. Slowing down helps you see and understand more deeply. A person who lives fast sees a lot, but understands little. A person who lives slowly may see less, but understands more. Seneca once said, "We do not have a short life, but we waste much of it on things that do not matter." When you live slowly, you start to notice not just the world around you, but yourself. You begin to see where your emotions come from, which reactions control you, and what's truly worth your energy. I remember a businessman in Chicago telling me he couldn't stop thinking, even when he was supposed to rest. I asked, "Have you ever allowed your mind to be silent?" He laughed and said, "I don't think I know how." So we started a simple Stoic journaling practice. Each night he'd write down 3 things from the day that he truly experienced. 2 weeks later he said, "I'm starting to see my life more clearly." There are little things I never noticed before. That's the quiet miracle of slowing down. It opens your eyes. It helps you see the beauty hidden in the ordinary and realize that happiness isn't something to chase. It's something you discover when you finally move slow enough to notice it. Reason 3. Slowing down frees you from the world's control. Let's be honest. Have you ever felt like you're running a race you never signed up for? The constant comparisons, the competition, the fear of falling behind, all of it slowly steals your inner freedom. Epictetus once said, "No one can disturb your peace unless you allow them to." But to see that you're being controlled, you first have to slow down. Because speed clouds awareness. When you're living too fast, you lose sight of what you truly want and what you're simply following because everyone else is. I remember a woman in New York who told me, "All my friends are buying houses, getting promoted, getting married, and I feel like I'm failing." I asked her, "If there were no one to compare yourself to, would you still feel like a failure?" She went silent for a long time. Then she said softly, "No, probably not." The power of slowing down. It creates space between you and the world, between reason and reaction. And that space is freedom. Freedom not to be manipulated by the news. Freedom not to be pulled by the crowd. Freedom not to let your worth be defined by anyone else. The Stoics called this state ataraxia, the calm of the soul, a serenity so deep that nothing external can disturb it, unless you let it. Reason 4, slowing down nurtures inner peace. Peace doesn't come from controlling everything. It comes from learning to let go of what you can't control. And to let go, you have to slow down long enough to see what's actually within your control. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "If something is beyond your power, leave it alone. Peace will come as soon as you do." Most of us live in a constant state of tension, tight with worry, fear, and the need to make everything go our way. But life doesn't follow our script, and the more we try to force perfection, the more we lose the quiet inside us. I once worked with a man in Seattle who was going through a divorce. He told me, "I keep trying to control everything, my ex-wife's emotions, what my kids think of me, but the harder I try, the more it hurts." I told him, "You can't control them. You can only control your response." A month later, he said, "I'm starting to accept that some things just don't belong to me." And strangely, that makes me feel lighter. That's what slowing down teaches you, the practice of letting go. When you stop fighting what's beyond your reach, you begin to feel peace, not from the outside world, but from deep within yourself. Reason 5. Slowing down brings you back to what truly matters. There's a quote from Seneca that I've always loved. "Life is not short, we just waste much of it on the trivial." When you slow down, you start to see what's truly worth your time, and what isn't. You begin to understand that fame, status, and wealth are all temporary. What remains are your relationships, your peace of mind, and the way you treat yourself. I remember a middle-aged man in California who told me, "I spent 20 years building my company. When I finally sold it, I thought I'd feel happy, but instead I felt empty." I asked, "What did you say? What actually makes you happy?" He paused for a long moment and said, "Probably those mornings when I took my kids to school without checking my email." That's the truth slowing down reveals. Life doesn't need much to be meaningful. It just needs your presence. When you live slowly, you return to what's simple. An honest conversation, a meal you actually taste, an afternoon watching the sunset without thinking about work. And in those seemingly small moments, you rediscover the vastness of life. Stoicism doesn't tell you to give up ambition, it simply asks, is your ambition helping you live, or is it just making you run? Slowing down isn't a rebellion against the world, it's how you protect your soul from being swallowed by it. It's the art of living with awareness, moving with the rhythm of your breath, and seeing clearly the moments you once overlooked. The Stoics never taught us to live less, they taught us to live more fully, within the same amount of time. So if today you feel like life is pulling you too fast, remember this: you have the right to pause. No one can force you to live at the speed of the world. You can choose your own rhythm, slower but more honest. And maybe when you do, you'll understand what the Stoics discovered thousands of years ago. Life isn't a race, it's a journey. And that journey becomes beautiful only when you slow down enough to feel it. When you start to slow down, something strange happens. The world doesn't actually change speed, you do. Your breathing softens, your mind quiets. And the things that once terrified you suddenly don't seem so big anymore. Because when you learn to move slowly, you're not just changing the pace of your life, you're changing the way you experience it. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Receive each day as a gift. If you can breathe, think and love, that is enough." Slowing down doesn't make you weaker, it makes you more real. In a noisy world, the one who dares to live slowly isn't a failure, they're simply awake enough to choose their own rhythm. I remember once, during a session in California, a middle-aged man looked at me and said, "I feel like I'm driving a car that never stops, and I've forgotten where the brakes are." I asked him, "Do you know where you're going?" He shook his head. So I told him, maybe what you need isn't a new road, but a pause. We often think happiness lies ahead, after we achieve something, after we make more money, after someone finally understands us. But the Stoics knew the truth. Everything you're searching for is already here. in your breath in this moment. You just have to stop long enough to notice it. Living slowly isn't about running away to the mountains, and it's not about leaving the modern world behind. It's about creating space within, a quiet place where reason can speak, where the soul can rest, where you stop running and finally begin to see. Imagine this. It's a quiet morning. You don't pick up your phone, you don't check the news, you simply open the window, let the early light touch your face, and take a slow, deep breath. In that moment, the world stops pulling at you. You're not being dragged anywhere. You're right here with yourself. And maybe in that stillness, you'll realize what Stoicism has been whispering for over 2,000 years. Peace isn't a destination. It's the state of mind that appears when you stop running. I know slowing down in this world isn't easy. People might think you're lazy, unmotivated, or lacking ambition. But remember this, you weren't born to impress the world. You were born to be in harmony with yourself. The Stoics believe that true freedom doesn't come from speed. It comes from mastery of the mind. And every time you slow down, you're taking one more step toward that freedom. A quiet, steady, luminous path that no storm can shake. If this message resonates with you, share your story in the comments below. Tell me about a moment when you truly lived slowly. Maybe it was a morning when you savored your coffee without reaching for your phone. Maybe it was an evening when you stopped your car just to watch the sunset. Because those small moments, those pauses of pure presence, are what remind us that life isn't measured in years, but in the seconds we're truly here. And if you'd like to keep walking this path, the path of learning how to live peacefully in a restless world, of rediscovering ancient wisdom in modern life, hit subscribe and like to join our community here at Stoic Awakening More. This isn't just a YouTube channel, it's a place for awakened souls, for those who want to master themselves before mastering the world. So if you're tired today, if you feel like you've been running without knowing where you're going, stop for a moment, take a breath, drop your shoulders, feel your lungs fill slowly with air. In that simple breath, you don't need anything else. You've already come home. Take a breath, welcome home.